I'm going to show you how to make one of these teeny tiny recycled paper bag journals. So all you need is some scraps of paper. So if you've done my other tutorial paper bag journal, that was the accordion style bag, then you'll probably have scraps potentially from that. And then maybe a little bit of offcut of some wrapping paper, or maybe an artwork that you're happy to part with for the cover. You also need some scissors. You will need an embroidery thread, ideally, and then some sort of embroidery cotton. That's a nice color. Actually, no, I'm going to go with the blue. And I got a nice coffee because it's the morning. I'm starting like that, and I've got this superpower ring. You don't need it. I just found it in my trinket box, and I was like, whoa, superpower ring. Okay, so let me get coffee out of the way and also have some. And if you are drinking some sort of beverage, do let me know what that is. Curious. It's summer a bit. No, well, it's summer, but it's technically autumn, but it feels summery. So, this little journal, I made this at a workshop, and we were kind of having a competition for who could make the smallest journal. I'm sure I could make smaller, but this is pretty small. And I look forward to making teeny tiny artworks in it. Oh, I don't know, I could do tiny poems in there. Super cute. I had a little play with doing some fancy binding that didn't work out. I'm just going to be showing you how to make the simple kind of journal. So shall we just get into that then? I'll use this as my basis. So what do I need? I need some pages. All right. I never measure anything. I always just use my eye, and I'm seeing that I could probably get a couple of pages out of that. I'm just going to do a bit of ripping because that's fun. And I'm going to use this as a little guide. See how many pages. I can get about 3 pages out of that. So what am I doing? I'm doing that accordion style folding. So if you didn't get to see that, this is a bit thick. So, oh, that's changed the size. Let's try that again then. Trying to make my pages about the same size. And again, that will have more to do with what your paper is than anything else. And I do, all my stuff is really intuitive based, so which is a skill, by the way. It's not, I woke up and I can do this. It's honed over years of just having a good eye for measuring, I suppose. So I should say, if you want to measure, get a ruler. That would be a good idea. But I always just kind of go with whatever's good enough because I can cut stuff down. I got 3 pages. Let's get one more. Oh yeah. It's got some sort of natural fold there that's very similar. And I'll just do a bit of a tear. This paper is really good for tearing. And it makes a very, very satisfying sound. Alright, and then I'm just going to trim that down. Alright, so for those who are like, I want to measure, go ahead and do that. Please do. Cut it down so you feel nice and comfortable. In many ways, that's actually very satisfying to get everything to be the same size. So please do. It's a teeny bit bigger than that. Please do cut things down. Make it nice and comfortable for yourself. Handy to have a bulldog clip if you want to cut things down. But again, I'm going to go with my eye. Lucky me, though I can just trim that down and be happy with it. Alright, and then I'm going to fold it in half. Just like that. Yeah, it's a little wonky, but I kind of tend to embrace the wonkiness in life. Alright, so now we're going to move in straight away to stitching it. one of my rules of thumb for measuring is to use my body, or for you to use your body. So I always measure from my thumb to close to my shoulder, or at least just over my elbow armpit. Is that what that's called? I don't know. Looks like an armpit. That's going to be long enough for this journal, but usually that's how I measure things. And in my workshops I always tell people to measure, use your body. It'll be long enough to stitch your thing together, but not too long that you just get all tangled in it. And then I'm going to thread my needle. I've got these really nice needles that have a pretty big eye, but you can also get a needle threader, and that's super helpful. So I'm going to thread it, and I'm going to give myself a pretty generous tail on my anchor. So my anchor is my knot. So when I stitch into the page, I want to have a knot there. I'm going to double knot it so that it's not coming through. And I'm going to give myself a little bit extra tail, and you'll see why soon. Okay. And then we're going to do a pamphlet stitch, which I've done here. Pamphlet stitch is where you've got, okay, maybe I do want to cut that little wonky bit there. Am I going to do that? No. So what you could do here is, with a pen, maybe not this, is mark out 3 kind of equally distant dots. So with pamphlet stitch, you're stitching in the spine of the book. You can do as many dots as you like, but 3 will be enough for this. And 3 is enough for a pamphlet kind of style of book, which isn't super duper thick. And it's easy enough to stitch through. And I'm going to go through the middle, the middle one there. So in I go. And this paper's pretty thin. This book is not that thick, so I know that it's going to be pretty easy for my needle to go through. And then I'm going to come up through this top one from behind. So I'm coming through this way. So I've already got my hole there. Okay, and then I'm going to come back down through my middle hole. On a thicker journal, this kind of stitching is a little tricky. And there's tools that you can use to help you. But as I'm not looking for perfection, I don't care. So now I'm going to come back through the 3rd hole that hasn't had any threading action, and I'm going to come up. All right, then what I like to do, and like this is me making this up, by the way, I'm just going to come through the center there. Now you can see I've left my long tail there. I'm going to do one little stitch to kind of just tie it off there in the middle. And now what I think could be super cute is to do, I don't think I can hold this up while I do it, can I? A teeny tiny bow in the middle. Ah, adorable. Now, it's true I haven't stitched on the cover just yet, and potentially I should have done that. Now that I think of it. Should drink more of that coffee, shouldn't I? Sleepyhead. Now, that could be the middle, or that could be the outside. So that could be your book as it is, completely done. Let's call that version 1. Shall we make a version that now has a cover? Yes, let's do that, Mary Helen. All right, start again. Let's get our pages. I think I can get 4 out of that. Trim it down. And I'm going to trim it down there. Alright, and leave those scrappies aside. So I've got 4 bits of paper there. And and I'm going to bring them together to make my book. I don't mind this being there. There's ways I can work with it. I don't mind that stuff inside my books. I can gesso pages and whatnot. Now I'm going to come in with my cover. So like immediately I could stick those two down and then that gets rid of that text, but then it also takes away a bit of the page. But I won't do that because I'm happy to work with that. But what I want to do is give myself a little bit of extra cover. So I'm just going to cut that. Again, not looking for perfection. That you can do later, but I think in the beginning, just have a play. I know that if that overwhelms you though, please do measure. Like pick a size. Like I would say, I think that's just under 10 centimeters. Like maybe that is about 10 centimeters. Maybe that's about 5. So it could be 10 by 5 centimeters. If you're working in a different kind of measurement, I think it'd be like 5 inches by 2.5 inch. I don't know. So there's my cover. I don't mind that being a little bit bigger. You can see in this one it's the same size. That's because I cut it down. I actually like that overhang because if I wanted to, I could make it like a teeny tiny book jacket, which is adorable in its own right, and I could tuck that all in. But for this video, well, let's just stick with keeping it nice and simple and making tiny little journal. Like this could be a little birthday card for someone. Imagine that. Happy birthday. It's super cute. We'll keep that forever. Okay, so now we're going to stitch. So we remember that, don't we? Because we've already done it. It's going to be the same stitching. Let me just find some thread that's going to stand out so you can see. I'll use this black thread. Using your body as a measurement. So I think from thumb to the elbow armpit. If you know what the real name of that is, feel free to tell me. I'm going to thread it up. And I think what I discovered is actually that on the outside is pretty adorable. I mean, it's a bit messy, I suppose, but it's also like a fun little thing to play with. Maybe we do it different this time. Maybe I do it in a way that keeps it nice and neat. So, on this occasion, I won't do an anchor knot. I'm just going to plot out my 3 spots. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go into the middle one. Through. I will give myself a generous amount there. I'm going to just hold on to it with my thumb so it's not coming through. If that's feeling a bit challenging to hold all those things, get some masking tape or painter's tape, just stick it down, just so it can hold it for you. Then we're going to come over to the other side and come through the back. I'm a little bit off there, so I'm going to correct that. So the hole came a bit skew with, as I would say. I'm going to correct it a little bit. Just visually though, you might take a little bit more time to do that. All right, then we're going to go back through the middle hole. Yeehaw, and then back through this top hole here. What time is it? All right, I'm doing all right for time. I've got to go off to work soon. Okay, and back through the middle. And then I'm on the outside, so I did a little bit different, didn't I? I'm gonna come do a little loopy knot there. And then I'm going to come back through the center. That should hold. Now, I am going to do 1 tight knot. Pull really tight, 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 tight. Use the muscles in your fingers. And then I'm going to snip really close to that. Yay. Done. Teeny tiny journal. Could be someone's birthday card. What do you reckon? All right, definitely like this video. subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be posting more tutorials on all the wonderful little things that I make in workshops and make in the different creative spaces I work, as resources that you can just like jump in and have a go at. Yeah, it's a nice activity, you know. Got to learn a new thing every day, right? Because we have those brain cells that we wake up with, the new ones, and they want to learn new things, and this is a cool new thing to learn. So yep, like this video, subscribe, and yeah, flick me an image if you did this. I'm over on Instagram at Mark and Movement, and thanks so much for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed.